The luxury safari lodge at Maasai Mara had been operating for 12 years when wildlife photographer David Brennan first noticed the pride of lions that had begun systematically hunting humans along the remote game trails that connected Kenya's most exclusive tourist destinations. The lodge's location in the heart of the 1,510 square kilometer reserve placed it directly in the path of the Great Migration. But the behavioral changes Brennan was documenting would transform Africa's most celebrated wildlife sanctuary into a hunting ground where humans had become the preferred prey. The morning air carried the acrid scent of wildebeest, dung, and dried grass. As Brennan adjusted his telephoto lens to capture the pride that had established territorial dominance over a 15-kilometer stretch of the Mara River crossing. The 42-year-old photographer from Manchester had spent 8 years documenting African wildlife, but the systematic hunting patterns he was observing challenged everything he understood about lion behavior and human safety in protected reserves. The Mara North Pride consisted of 11 lions led by 2 massive males whose combined weight exceeded 500 pounds of pure predatory muscle. The coalition, known to researchers as Scar and Brutus, had established their dominance through systematic elimination of competing males and had recently expanded their hunting territory to include areas that had been considered safe for human tourism activities. Scar, the dominant male, bore the distinctive facial markings that had given him his name after surviving a territorial battle that had left 3 parallel claw marks running from his left eye to his massive jaw. His mane, darkened to almost black through years of testosterone-fueled aggression, framed a head that measured nearly 2 feet from nose to ears. The lion's amber eyes held an intelligence that suggested he had learned to view humans not as neutral observers, but as vulnerable prey that could be systematically hunted and eliminated. Brutus, the secondary male, compensated for his slightly smaller size through unprecedented cunning and tactical coordination with his coalition partner. His lighter mane and unmarked features concealed a predator that had perfected the art of coordinated hunting, using distraction and flanking maneuvers that exceeded documented lion behavioral patterns. Together, the 2 males commanded a pride that had begun viewing the Safari Lodge's guests as an easily accessible food source. The pride's systematic stalking of tourist vehicles had begun 3 weeks earlier, when lodge manager Catherine Mwangi first reported lions that refused to retreat from game drive routes, despite the presence of multiple vehicles and human observers. The 34-year-old Kenyan wildlife expert had grown up in Maasai communities where lion behavior was understood through generations of coexistence, but the aggressive territorial expansion she was witnessing represented evolutionary changes that challenged traditional knowledge. The lodge itself represented the pinnacle of luxury safari accommodation, featuring elevated tented pavilions that provided panoramic views of the savannah while maintaining what designers believed was safe separation from ground-level predators. Each tent was positioned on stilts 12 feet above the ground and connected to central facilities through elevated walkways that had been engineered to prevent wildlife access. The facility's design had never anticipated assault by predators that possessed the intelligence and coordination necessary to systematically eliminate human defensive barriers. Brennan's first indication of immediate danger came during a routine dawn photography session, when he noticed that the normal sounds of savanna wildlife had been replaced by an unnatural silence that suggested the presence of apex predators. His telephoto lens revealed Scar positioned in tall grass, just 50 meters from the elevated walkway, where Brennan was capturing sunrise images of the Mara landscape. The lion's approach was methodical and calculated, his massive bulk moving through the golden grass with fluid precision that demonstrated decades of successful hunting experience. Scar's intelligent behavior suggested he was not simply investigating human presence, but actively evaluating Brennan as potential prey that could be isolated and eliminated from the safety of the elevated platform. Brennan's photography equipment included motion sensors and infrared cameras that had been designed to document nocturnal wildlife behavior. But the data they collected revealed coordination between Pride members that exceeded normal lion hunting patterns. The lions were communicating through subsonic vocalizations that allowed them to coordinate complex hunting strategies while remaining undetected by human observers. The Pride's first assault on human targets occurred when German tourists Klaus and Ingrid Weber ventured beyond the lodge's designated safe areas during an unauthorized evening game walk. The 60-year-old retired engineers from Munich had extensive experience with European wildlife, but had underestimated the territorial aggression of African predators that had learned to view humans as accessible prey rather than neutral observers. The Webers' decision to photograph lions during the golden hour placed them in direct confrontation with predators that had been systematically studying human movement patterns and identifying vulnerabilities in tourist safety protocols. Their position near a seasonal water source had unknowingly placed them in the center of the Pride's established hunting territory during peak feeding time. Scar's assault on Klaus Weber was swift and devastating. The massive male erupted from concealment in a riverine thicket with explosive power that covered 30 meters in less than 3 seconds. His 400-pound bulk struck the German tourist with enough force to shatter ribs and vertebrae, while his massive jaws clamped down on Weber's torso with crushing pressure that exceeded 1,000 pounds per square inch. The lion's killing technique was efficient and brutal, targeting the neck and spine with precision that demonstrated evolutionary perfection in eliminating large prey. Scar's massive canine teeth, measuring over 3 inches in length, were designed for severing major blood vessels and crushing cervical vertebrae with surgical efficiency. Ingrid Weber's screams attracted the immediate attention of the Pride's females, who had positioned themselves in a coordinated ambush formation that prevented any escape from the kill zone. The lioness's hunting coordination revealed tactical sophistication that exceeded documented Pride behavioral patterns, their systematic encirclement suggesting military-level strategic planning. The Pride's feeding behavior was methodical and terrifying. While Scar maintained his grip on Klaus Weber's body, the lionesses began their systematic dismemberment process that would eliminate any evidence of human presence in their territory. Their powerful jaws and razor-sharp claws made quick work of clothing and equipment, while their coordinated feeding prevented scavengers from accessing the kill site. Brutus's pursuit of Ingrid Weber demonstrated hunting intelligence that challenged fundamental assumptions about lion cognitive abilities. The secondary male used terrain features and vegetation cover to approach his prey while maintaining coordination with Pride members who were blocking potential escape routes through the surrounding bush. Ingrid's survival depended on her ability to reach the safety of the lodge's elevated structures before 11 lions could complete their coordinated hunt. Her panicked flight through the savannah attracted additional predator attention, while her unfamiliarity with African terrain made effective escape nearly impossible against creatures perfectly adapted to this environment. The Pride's systematic elimination of both tourists was completed within minutes, their efficient killing and feeding behavior leaving no trace of human presence that could alert lodge security to the attack. The lions' intelligence and coordination had eliminated traditional safety protocols that tourism operators had relied upon for decades. Catherine Mwangi's discovery of the attack site revealed the full extent of lion tactical sophistication. The Pride had systematically removed all evidence of human presence while establishing territorial markers that claimed the area as their exclusive hunting ground. Their behavioral patterns suggested they had learned to view tourist activities as opportunities for easy prey acquisition. The lodge's emergency response protocols had been designed for isolated wildlife encounters rather than coordinated predator campaigns against human guests. The Pride's obvious territorial expansion and systematic hunting of humans had eliminated the safety margins that had once made luxury safari tourism possible in protected reserve environments. Brennan's documentation of the pride's hunting patterns revealed behavioral evolution that challenged conventional understanding of lion intelligence and social organization. The predators were adapting to human presence through increased coordination and systematic elimination of tourist activities in areas they claimed as exclusive hunting territory. The pride's continued stalking of lodge operations forced management to implement unprecedented security measures that fundamentally altered the safari experience. Armed guards and vehicle escorts became mandatory for all guest activities, while elevated walkways were reinforced to prevent predator access to accommodation areas. Scar and Brutus's territorial expansion continued despite human intervention efforts, their coordinated presence making traditional game viewing impossible in areas they claimed through systematic violence. The coalition had demonstrated that Africa's apex predators possessed the intelligence and organization necessary to reclaim territories they considered their exclusive domain. The investigation revealed that lion populations throughout East Africa were displaying unprecedented territorial aggression toward tourism operations. The predators were learning to associate human activities with prey opportunities, and were developing strategies specifically designed to eliminate tourists from areas they claimed as exclusive hunting grounds. The Mara North Pride's systematic hunting of humans represented evolutionary behavior that challenged fundamental assumptions about the relationship between apex predators and tourism development. The lions had crossed behavioral boundaries that wildlife experts considered permanent, developing coordination and tactical sophistication that made traditional safety equipment obsolete. Additional attacks on lodge staff and guests forced the permanent closure of elevated walkways and outdoor dining areas that had been central to the luxury safari experience. The pride's territorial behavior had escalated beyond normal lion patterns, making human presence impossible in areas they claimed through coordinated violence. Brennan's evacuation from the lodge required helicopter transport due to the pride's systematic control of ground-based evacuation routes. The lions had positioned themselves to intercept any human movement through their territory, while maintaining communication networks that allowed rapid response to escape attempts. The photographer's documentation revealed that the pride had learned to anticipate human behavioral patterns and exploit vulnerabilities in tourism safety protocols. Their intelligence and adaptability had eliminated traditional protective measures that had once made wildlife photography possible in close proximity to apex predators. The lodge's insurance claims exceeded $2 million due to guest evacuations, facility modifications, and liability settlements related to the pride's territorial expansion. The lions' systematic elimination of tourism activities had made luxury safari operations financially impossible in areas they claimed as exclusive hunting territory. Local Maasai communities reported similar behavioral changes in lion populations throughout the greater Mara ecosystem, suggesting that territorial aggression toward humans was spreading beyond isolated pride boundaries. The predators were developing cultural knowledge that identified humans as competitors to be systematically eliminated, rather than neutral species to be tolerated. The Kenya Wildlife Service's intervention attempts using translocation and deterrent methods proved ineffective against lions that had learned to coordinate complex territorial campaigns. The pride's intelligence and social organization exceeded traditional wildlife management capabilities, making human coexistence impossible in areas they claimed through violence. Scar and Brutus's coalition continued to patrol their expanded territory with obvious hostile intent, their coordinated presence making any human savanna activities impossible. The lions had demonstrated that Africa's apex predators possessed the tactical sophistication necessary to eliminate human presence through systematic hunting campaigns that recognized no boundaries between species competing for territorial resources. The abandoned safari lodge at Maasai Mara became a monument to humanity's naive assumption that protected reserve status would guarantee human safety in environments dominated by apex predators. The facility's elevated structures and security systems had proven inadequate against lions that possessed the intelligence and coordination necessary to systematically eliminate human presence from territories they claimed through ancestral right. These encounters reveal how quickly Africa's most intelligent predators can organize coordinated campaigns to eliminate human activities from territories they claim through evolutionary dominance and superior adaptation. The lions of Maasai Mara have demonstrated that tactical coordination and systematic hunting can be more effective than individual strength when directed toward eliminating human presence from contested territorial boundaries. If you found this harrowing account of apex predator territorial warfare as shocking as we did, hit that like button and subscribe for more gripping stories of when Africa's most dangerous hunters decide human activities are unacceptable intrusions into their domain. Each week, we document the most terrifying encounters between humans and predators that possess the intelligence to coordinate systematic campaigns against our presence in their ancestral territories. Because understanding these evolving threats could mean the difference between a successful safari and becoming the next victim of creatures that have learned to eliminate competition through organized violence that recognizes no species boundaries. The empty luxury tents at Maasai Mara serve as a reminder that beneath Africa's spectacular wildlife, viewing opportunities lies a world governed by ancient laws that recognize no human authority or conservation boundaries, leaving behind those who discovered too late that we share these lands with creatures perfectly evolved to reclaim their territory through systematic elimination of any species that dares to challenge their dominance over resources they have claimed through millions of years of evolutionary perfection.